Welcome, everyone, to Let's Talk Real Estate Investing. In this series, we share experiences, knowledge, and learnings from other real estate investors and experts that assist real estate investors to empower you to build your personalized real estate investing strategy. If you enjoy this podcast, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel so that you can get notifications whenever we have new podcasts that come out. My name is Debbie Balfour, and I'm a real estate investing professional and a real estate investing coach. So I help my clients to build their personalized real estate investing strategy and scale efficiently so you can start enjoying financial freedom, but most of all, time freedom. That's what we are all doing this for, to get to that time freedom. I want you to know that you are all unique. Every one of us are unique, so our strategies need to be unique to us. I'm really excited today to introduce my guest, Wesley Barker. Wesley began his real estate journey with the BRRRR strategy. So BRRRR is buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat, and turning his first property into a cash flowing asset. He was self-taught and driven, and he expanded his knowledge through online research and hands-on experience. He understood the value of mentorship. So Wesley sought out guidance from experienced coaches, gain insights to elevate his success in real estate investing and in wholesaling. So today we're going to chat with Wes about his real estate investing journey, where he started and where he is today. So Wes, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Really excited to have you here. I know I'm pushing you a bit out of your comfort zone, and I'm I'm very proud of you to be doing this. So tell us a bit about, why did you get started in real estate? What prompted you to get started?
Well, thanks for the introduction there. And what kind of prompted me into this was knowing that working a regular job as an electrician, which is my background, which helps with my real estate, knowing you can't always make ends meet and not having the time to focus more on my family and young kids is what pushed me into looking for other ways to build time to spend with my family. So it led me into this path of real estate, which started with my property manager back in 2019, because I ended up working on his rental properties he was managing. And then I just started talking with him, and he kind of introduced me to a few other real estate investors in my area. And then it kind of went from there into buying my own single family house with my brother, who's a carpenter, so we work quite well together. And then we renovated it into a duplex in the house, and then kind of a laneway cottage house in the back of the property. And then we all moved out of it and used the same property manager that got me into this. He's now currently renting that all out. And then from there, I continued the education piece because we had more cash from the refinance that we did on our house, which was substantial over the 2020 to 2021 period, kind of where the market jumped a fair bit. So we went from there, and then we decided to get some coaching, which is how I ended up meeting Debbie, is through kind of Keyspire and some other people that were mentioning working with coaches. And that's kind of how I've grown the knowledge. And as we've been learning more about real estate, we see things that we should have done a lot differently with our first property. So we've kind of slowed down a little bit on buying and purchasing properties to really learning what it means to actually be investing and how that will affect the rest of our lives.
So Wes, where is that first property where that you're renting out right now?
It's in Port Alberni, BC on Vancouver Island. So it's a pretty good market for rentals. And even right now I'm got about one fourplex that I'm looking at doing a lease to own property with an owner there. And then I've also got a duplex that I'm looking at, same kind of idea, is doing either a lease to own or a vendor take back in Port Alberni, or possibly just buying outright. So I Port Alberni is the home I grew up in, so I know the town and I keep aware of what's going on around there in real estate. And there's some pretty interesting properties that come up from time to time. So I keep an eye on what I can do around there as well.
And where do you live today?
We moved right before COVID kind of took off. We decided to move off the island and moved up to Williams Lake, BC. So it's kind of middle-ish of BC. A lot of people don't know where this is. We moved here because my wife has family in the area, and then I ended up getting work as an electrician in the area for the last few years, working around here and continuing to learn the real estate side of things.
So you are right now managing that property in Port Alberni remotely.
Yeah, and when you say managing, it's very, very minimal. And
Mhm.
this is part of the time piece that I've learned how to get back with that one property is hiring a property manager that knows what he's doing. So it allows me to spend maybe an hour a month between talking with the property manager and making sure that I've done like the paperwork he sends me every month, which is the rent and invoice, and make sure that it's filed on my spreadsheets up to date. But it takes me about an hour a month for close to 5 grand worth of rental income. So it's pretty hands off, which gives me a lot more time to focus on other things.
And where you're living today, I want you to share that. So it's not just, you're not just doing real estate investing for yourself because you've got that property with you and your brother, but you're doing something else today, right now, where you're living that's also helping your family. Can you explain like how, the home you're living in right now and how you're helping out your family?
So I think it was in September of 2024. Me and my brother and my wife, we were sitting around a campfire and we had money from the refinance that we were intending to use for buying another property. But then we were just kind of sitting there working jobs we didn't really like very much. The typical, 8 to 4, 9 to 5 jobs. And we're sitting there going, we have all this money from the refinance and it's for real estate. And we were finding we couldn't educate ourselves and work at the same time. And with I've got 3 young kids. My oldest is 6 and youngest is 2. So life is busy. So I couldn't learn the real estate education I wanted to learn and work and take care of my family. So something had to go. So we're just sitting there going, we have the money, so why don't we just quit? So like the next day we both quit our jobs and then we focused more on the real estate education piece to grow our knowledge, to understand where we want to go and kind of our path, which has been quite interesting because it's given me a lot more time to help raise my kids and be home with my wife and develop that side of the relationships a lot more, which it can be. Some people think quitting your job is, you know, scary, and some people they'll be telling us, we're doing a really heroic thing and we're being really brave, but both, like, I don't see it that way because having a red seal ticket in a trade that's pretty much all the trades are in demand right now. So even if this real estate stuff doesn't work out as fast as I need it to, I can just go back and work as an electrician and make really good money. So my backup is quite secure, which has given me the confidence to go into full real estate side of things. And now with the education that I've been doing and learning a lot about wholesaling, I'm probably not going to go back to being an electrician again. Like I'm focused and committed on staying within the real estate, which is the one of the biggest things that Debbie's had to help push me through is to stay focused on what I'm doing and to just keep going no matter what obstacles kind of come into your way.
I like what you said, Wes. I mean, it was for a lot of people, they think they can't quit their job to start being a professional real estate investor until they have like cash flow. A lot of people look for that cash flow from all these properties and say, okay, that's when I can quit. But what you did was you thought about it and you said, I've got some money in my property that I could invest in myself to start with. So you and your brother are using that money, that equity in your property to actually finance yourself while you giving yourself time to build out your real estate investing business. So that's something I think, that that's a mind shift there. And a lot of people say, I have to have enough, cash flow. And sometimes there may never be a time, or it will be a very long time to do that. And especially when you're working your job with that. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think for a lot of us too, we've got registered funds in the same way that we could use and cash in, because we know that we're not going to get rich off of the registered funds. So that was good. And I also, the fact that you said to yourself, hey, I can always go back. There's no risk here. There's no big deal because I can go back to doing what I was doing and earn money. But at least I'm trying. So I think that's pretty cool, and you should give yourself kudos for having that strong mindset around that. So speaking of mindset, what keeps you going? What's your why that keeps you focused on doing the real estate investing when obstacles come up?
Well, the biggest thing is family, which is what drives a lot of what I do, because having a young family, but it's not just having a young family, because as my kids grow, things become more expensive. And if I want my kids in hobbies, or we just want to go down to Vancouver and stay in a nice hotel and go to the aquarium or do those things as a family, or even just some of the our hobbies around here, those things can become expensive. And with the world and the economies and all of that, everything getting more and more expensive, trying to keep up with that wasn't working for me. So that's where my big why is my family, and to move forward where I don't have to worry about having money coming in if something happens to me or happens to my wife or any of us. Like, we can actually take the time to deal with it, because there's lots of people that I've personally in my own life and that that we've all heard about, that get sick with a stroke or cancer, but then they have to go back to work because they need to make money. And I just don't like that thought of being stuck with not having the money to deal with emergencies that come up, and providing the life that I want for my kids. Because most of the time we run into it's between 200 to $1,000 is often our point of, oh, that's kind of too expensive. So we just don't want to limit our kids' growth and learning and experiences in life because we can't afford it. And that's why with real estate, there's just endless opportunities and endless directions to go with how you're going to grow it. Because there's land development, there's wholesaling, you can become a coach eventually. There's so many ways to go. You can do the BRRRR strategy, flipping, you can JV partner, you can use your registered funds. There's just a lot of avenues to use that can generate a lot higher returns than traditional ways of working. Because with the wholesaling that I've been really working on very much with another one of my coaches, there's an incredible amount of knowledge to learn, but the my transaction fee for setting up the deal when it goes through is $10,000. So within 3 to 5 weeks, going through, getting all the legal paperwork and setting up the whole deal and getting everything to go through, I'll be making about $10,000 plus, depending on how the deal is structured. I can also be getting some cash flow from the property as well. So $10,000 in about a month is a lot more than I was making working for somebody else. So I'd rather work for myself and be in control of what I'm doing, and getting away from, if I'm working, I make money, and if I'm not working, I don't make money. So I'd rather make money while I'm sleeping, or I'm out, snowboarding with the kids or just having fun with the kids, and I know money's still coming in, so I don't gotta worry.
Mm-hmm. And it's nice that when you're working for yourself, you know, there's no one to call into, no one to ask for vacation from, no one to, you don't have to, oh, I have to call in sick today, and you know, or can I go on vacation? So that is an amazing feeling to have that. So Wes, you are the home so you've owned this home, and you and your brother own the home in Port Alberni. You have it as an investment property, but the home you're living in right now, you don't own. What are you doing there?
Well, because of this whole investing journey that I started, and then my brother came in, and because of the amount of research that I've done and learning, because that's kind of my natural, as I like to research and just learn lots of information. I started to affect other people, like family and friends around me. So I've built up people who are willing to lend me money. And what happened was my mom, she got very interested in it, and she actually joined Keyspire, and she's still asks me tons of questions about real estate because she's learning just like I am. And like lots of people that are, that have a bit more money because they're older in life, 50s to say 60s, they're learning. So she was learning, and then we were looking to buy a house in Williams Lake, and then she just had some money. So then we went in together, and she bought the house, and then I'm renting the house from her, and then I'm renting out the basement suite that we have here to a tenant and managing the property for her. So it works for both her and us. So it helped her get into the real estate market and kind of learn some of the basics on how to do things while having somebody that she trusts taking care of it.
Isn't that an amazing feeling to know that, you know, getting into this business, how you can help your family and all be part of it?
Yeah, and as I've been learning and growing, there's lots of things that I didn't know existed, like having proper trusts set up so that one day my kids can be part of it and that it helps financially. And that's one of the things that I learned. I think it was from from uh, my life insurance guy there. He basically was like, you want to run your life like a business. So I set up a corporation so that I can have my cell phone and a bunch of my expenses that I use for real estate are under the corporation so that those are a tax write-off, and learning to create my life to function more like a business. So there's more tax advantages and there's more advantages to me. So I'm not spending money all the time personally. So it's spreading it out a little bit, which takes some learning on how to find a good accountant because that can take work, which finding any professional, you want to go with people's recommendations versus just looking it up on Google. So Debbie has definitely recommended quite a few good professionals that I've had good conversations with, and some of them have actually become my accountants or different parts of my team.
The important thing there to say though, it's really good to get recommendations, but you don't just go with that person because someone recommended
Hmm.
them. You want to really make sure that that person, you know, gels with you. I don't think you just went with him because I recommended him. You did have to interview him and understand whether he worked for you or not.
Yeah, that's true. We had a bunch of conversations, but it does help with the recommendation because it gives you an idea that they're working in the same in the space that you're trying to work. Because there's lots of accountants and lawyers that work outside of real estate, and even if it
Mhm.
says so on their website that they do, when you start talking to them, they don't have as much knowledge as you may need when it comes to certain professionals. So the recommendations help, but
Mhm.
then you do have to do a fair bit of work on how to make sure that they fit with you.
Your own due diligence, definitely. So, Wes, what are some of what's maybe not some, but let's say one of your weaknesses that you know about yourself? and how do you overcome it to keep going in this business?
One of the big ones is systems and paperwork because I am not a administrative type person. So I'm still eventually I will be looking for somebody when I'm running a bit more of a business to help more with that side of things. That's where my wife's also helping. And then there's a bunch of systems that Debbie, you've set me up with for just managing time and how to and using Legal Shield. So there's a bunch of different systems that I'm learning to use that kind of helps keep me a little bit more focused because I'm more of a people person and I'm able to see the big picture, but when I start doing all the little details, it's what can slow me down, and then I can get too busy focused on researching and analyzing versus doing what I know I should be doing. So it's over analyzing and not doing enough action. So, and that's something that having mentors that can see that in you, they can help push you to get over the fact that no, you've researched it enough. Now you need to go do some action. And then once you do the action, then you can look at what you've done, analyze it, go over it, and then do a bit more research, get a little bit more confident, but then go back out and do again.
Yeah. So what's something for, you're still a novice in this journey. What is something that you would some advice you would give some aspiring or novice real estate investors as they're starting out their journey?
Well, being kind of, I say I'm kind of new to it because I haven't done lots of deals and stuff, but I've done a lot of education. I'd say the biggest thing is education and don't give up even when it feels tough and you don't fully understand because even now I've got a couple recordings from one of my coaches that I have to go back over very slowly to figure out kind of exactly what I'm trying to do with some spreadsheets to make the numbers work on a couple properties. So it's to just keep pushing forward. And when it feels tough, don't give up, but keep educating. You because even if you're working at work, when I was working, what I'd do is I'd instead of just listening to music or whatever, if you're able to, now not everybody can because depending on the work, but I was able to, and I'd just listen to podcasts about real estate or I'd sign up for some kind of audio book and I just learn about it and over time it just kind of things started to stick. And the other side of that too is not just focusing wholly on real estate, but also other aspects like kind of, the mental state of how you look at the world and changing my perspective is brought me to this point where I'm much more confident than when I first started and not understanding how things work.
And that is so important. I love what you just said there. We can educate ourselves on as many strategies as we want. We can learn real estate investing inside and out. But if we don't change our mindset around, around the way we think, around scarcity versus abundance, all these things, we'll never move forward in our real estate investing because it's our mind that drives us. It's our mind that keeps us going. So I love that what you said. It was not just the real estate, educating yourself on that side, but on also on the mindset part of things.
Well, one of the biggest things that I got from one of the podcasts was to always be educating yourself. Like you need to fall in love with wanting to learn things, whether it's real estate or how to cook or how to do archery or play a sport, whatever that is, continually be learning about how to do what you're wanting to learn, whether or not it makes you money. But that's where I had to have the mind shift from not wanting to educate to now I actually really enjoy educating and I'm reading a lot of self-improvement books, which has changed the way that I look at my values. It's the way it's different how I interact with my family and learning how to listen, which is one of the books that I was reading is Never Split the Difference. And that particular book has a lot of useful ways to resolve conflict and also to hear what the other side is saying so that you're able to understand, which is very useful in real estate because you need to understand what the seller actually wants because it's not always that they're just trying to sell a house. Sometimes they might be selling the house because it's a divorce or they're selling it out of estate or it's a foreclosure or it's another investor that just doesn't want the portfolio anymore. So sometimes it's not always just about the price of it. Sometimes there's specific things that the sellers want, and if you can find out what those are, it can give you an advantage over other people.
Yes, definitely. And I think we all need to learn that. When I worked in corporate, there's something I always did was I would mute because I worked a lot of times remotely. I would always mute my phone because it stopped me from talking and allowed me to listen, and I took the time to like really think about whether I should unmute. So it is something that I think many of us need to learn, is that active listening, that really listening to understand the other person and what the other person's needs are.
Yeah.
So
And
that's okay.
one other thing to that, listening to what they're saying is, and it's something I've been starting to do with more people, is repeating back what you think that other person has said. Because sometimes the way they say it and the way you hear it aren't the same. So if you repeat back the main points of what they're saying, then if it's not quite the same of what they're saying, they're like, oh no, I meant it more like this. So now it helps you both be on the same page when it comes to the understanding, because sometimes people have different understandings about the way things are said. So if you mirror back what was just said to you, it can help with the conversation because now you're both trying to understand the same thing in the same way.
Did I hear this correctly? Did I understand this correctly? Is what you're asking the other person.
Yes.
Yeah, I find, and that's key to do, not just repeating the way they said it, because I find people do this and they think that that's active listening. And I find it so annoying. Yeah, you just told me what I just said, exactly the same words, but more like summarizing so that make sure that you got the point, the main point, and you've understood it properly.
Yeah, which helps a lot with communication and understanding.
Yeah. So I must apologize. I don't know if you can hear it, but the garbage truck is out there. Can you hear that noise? I don't know.
No, I think you're
Okay,
good.
good. Maybe my mic is good enough to mute it. It's annoying to me. It's distracting to me. So, speaking of that, Wes, I know that when I first started working with you, your big thing was that you have ADHD. So, how have you been able to overcome that?
But figuring out what I really want, because there's a whole lot of avenues in real estate and just in life in general, but focusing on one thing and staying there and not getting distracted with everything else, even if what you're focused on doesn't work out, stay focused on it until you figure out that it won't work and then move on. Because when I started, I was kind of all over the place with real estate, trying to do, wholesaling, thinking of BRRRRing, trying to do JV partner, and all of those things require a lot of learning just for each one of those particular paths of real estate. So I focused more on the wholesaling and then I just stayed there. Like even the other day, I had one of my coaches, she caught me doing the distracted, shiny eye, going a different direction. She's like, no, you need to focus here.
Excellent. So just focusing on that one thing, because when you're trying to do it all, it becomes really overwhelming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true. And it's very easy to get overwhelmed. And that's where you need to figure out kind of what you're capable of and what you enjoy doing, and then do that and hire people for the other parts when you're able to do the things you're not good at to help grow you because we're all good at certain things, but not the things that I'm good at, other people aren't good at, and they're better at things that I don't want to do or I don't know how to do. So working together is a lot more beneficial and finding out what you actually want in life and how you function and how you think and how you operate.
Excellent. So, Wes, which you're talking about you're going into wholesaling. This is what you're concentrating on. What markets are you looking at for your wholesaling?
Currently, I'm looking in Vernon and Port Alberni for my wholesaling side of things. The reason using Port Alberni is because I have a property manager and I grew up in Port Alberni, so I know the town quite well. Vernon, I have family in Vernon, and Vernon, it's it's a smallish city slash town, depending on who you talk to, but there's more opportunity for wholesaling deals in that area. So that's kind of why I picked that market because a lot of the stuff I do is online, which is another aspect of learning is how to be able to find properties and to talk to people via the phone and Zoom versus in person because it's always best to do things in person if you can, but with just where I am, I have to learn how to do a lot of it online.
Excellent. So if anybody's looking for a wholesaler, for those areas, please check out, reach out to Wes, because he might have some insights, and also it isn't something that you need right away. It's something that you can work together and know that this, someone's looking in this area, and then you can actively look for them for understand what they're looking for as a wholesaler, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I do. And that's where my focus is. And then I've been networking with some other people that focus on rent to own so that I can help people that can't necessarily, like they might have bad credit or the bank won't loan to them for whatever reason, is helping them to be able to own a house
Mm-hmm.
eventually. So I have some other people that I'm starting to, we're starting to look together to work together because they're doing the other side of the wholesaling. So I'm finding the houses and they're finding some people that might want to rent to own the houses. So I'm so I'm kind of building some of those relationships with other investors doing the other side of what I'm doing, which goes again to the working as a team.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking for investors who are looking for off-market properties through a wholesaler in Alberni and in Vernon, and then you're also looking for people who may be interested in partnering with you on, finding an off-market property and then doing the rent to own.
Yeah.
So those are your ideal clients that you're looking for.
Yes, because that's where I'm staying focused is on that. And I'm also looking for people that are like with the wholesaling, like I set up the deals, but I'm also looking for partners that are able to kind of qualify or have a bit of cash to be able to, it's not lots because with wholesaling, you're not putting the 20% down on property, so it makes it a lot less. So that's where I'm also looking to build up my list of people who are willing to partner for short periods of time on some properties that are, and I do all the numbers and I present, how the deals look. So I'm not pushing to sell anything. I'm just looking for people that are wanting some wholesale deals that I can present to.
Excellent. So we've got, for all those listening out there that are investors, you've got some great opportunities. There's a wide variety of people that, could work with you, partnering in different ways, depending on what they're looking for.
Yes.
Awesome. I had a question and I've forgotten what that was. Couldn't have been as important, I guess. But so many great nuggets, Wes, listening to your journey, listening to, the way you think of life. that would really that will help other, real estate investors who are, thinking about getting into this or just, starting out their journey. There's so many little nuggets and the way that you've overcome things, the way that you're thinking about things that really, will help others. I remember what it is. With your skills that you have, what are some of the skills that you're bringing to your wholesaling that makes you unique?
Well, a lot of what wholesaling is it's knowing the market or the area. So I do know the areas quite well, and I know what the rents are, and I have quite a lot of knowledge on how the whole kind of town, how the towns themselves work. And I'm still building up more so in Vernon. I'm still building up my uh, base of realtors and property managers, and what kind of my team in Vernon. I have more of that in Port Alberni, so that's kind of why I use there. But and then my construction knowledge of properties, because I've worked on a lot of houses. I understand houses and duplexes and fourplexes because I often look for more than just a single family home, just to help have more rental income to kind of cover the properties. So with the extensive background in construction, when I look at houses, I can see how to improve them by adding an extra room here or adding, a kitchen there or putting a washer and dryer in somewhere. Like I can see how you can increase the value pretty quickly, or how much it might actually take. Because I was just looking at a house just the other day, and the whole entire basement needs to be drywalled, and it looks like a pretty extensive fixing up, but the upstairs is really nice. So it's one of those projects that it needs a bit more work, but it has the potential to be pretty nice once it's done.
Yeah, excellent. So I'm just going to do a quick summary, Wes, before we wrap up. So I know that we're going to include how to contact you into this video. So we'll edit that in. So anyone wanting to reach out to you will be able to reach out because we will share with them. So Wes is looking for, investors who are either looking to buy a property off market or looking to partner with him either through doing like being on the rent to own side, experts on the rent to own. He'll find the property, and then you would be the expert in the rent to own, or someone looking to help him finance, working with him to finance those wholesaling deals. So those are the three. Did I summarize it correctly, Wes? Of what you're
Yeah, those
looking
are
for?
the three areas.
Awesome. And as Wes says, what he's bringing to the table here is he is a Red Seal electrician. He's got construction knowledge. He's very familiar with being able to look at a home and seeing how it can improve and how much that would cost and what needs to be done. He's familiar with the areas that he's working in because he himself is in like Port Alberni. He's lived there. He knows the area. He understands. He's already got a property there that he's renting. He's got an experienced property manager to work off of. So that's an area there. And then in Vernon, you're also familiar with, and you have family and friends in that area. So those are the key areas that Wes is working in. And I think that you're also looking to connect with not even someone necessarily looking for you to be your partner as an investor, but you're looking to just connect with other investors and just share each other's journey and get to know them.
Yeah, that's one of the big reasons why I want to be on this podcast, is because I'm looking to expand my network and just people in real estate and business, and just kind of the growth mindset that realtors have of helping to grow each other and to constantly, improve, which is why I really do enjoy being around other in the real estate world, is because it's just a really healthy growth mindset, whether it's, personal exercise habits, personal mindset, like it's just this growth environment. So I'm always looking to connect with other people who are in the real estate world or who just want to grow their mindset or just be better as humans.
And I know and West is located in Williams Lake. So if you're around that area, I know there are no right now meetups or anything like that. So if you're in that area, West would love to connect with you one-on-one. That would be ideal. So, Wes, what's before we wrap up, what is your one takeaway in in your life or right now? What is it that you've learned that you've like said, this is the one thing that I'm going to keep on remembering?
I would say to keep educating yourself. That's the only way that you can really truly change what you're doing in your life is to keep educating and finding people who have gone there before you and learn from them, whether it's reading books from people who have done something you're trying to do, or it's having coaches, because coaches and mentors are, they've really, like, they've changed the way that I look at things and the way that I do things. So it's definitely the education piece of just always be learning more about how to just grow.
What's your dream of getting for yourself from your real estate investing? What do you see your life being like?
Well, the dream would be to have a decent sized acreage somewhere in BC, probably around Williams Lake, but possibly in the Okanagan, and then just being able to live kind of more of a simpler life and just kind of homestead and raise my kids, but also not having to worry about if we want to travel to some other countries or just go and enjoy life, we can.
Excellent. So, I don't, that's definitely not something that's so big that it's not achievable. So I love it. And it's about your family, it's about your kids, it's about having that more relaxed lifestyle. Yeah. So, thank you so much, Wes. I really appreciate you being on the call with me, having this interview. And to everyone out there, please reach out to Wes, whether you're looking for a wholesaler or whether you just want to connect with another real estate investor. Reach out to Wes and get those connections going. And if you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe. I'm also looking for other guest speakers. So if you are a real estate investor or if you support real estate investors, I would love to have you on this podcast. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.